And we are back. And this is a solo episode. Welcome back, guys. And we are in my LWH sister studio, if that's what you want to call it. We're back with another episode. Excited, loving having the schedule, and we are, moving forward. First and foremost, wanted to take care of this before we get further into details, topics, and bullshit. Brandon, thank you. A huge thank you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Brandon Scheller, he was the last guest on the podcast. Huge thank you, my man. He was, huge support, and not only of my channel, but also of just me in general, of what I have goals of, and what I aspire to do. So a big shout out and thank you to Brandon. Always lovely to sit down and chat with him, even though we don't do it as much as we would like to. But yes, huge thank you. Definitely, I think one of my best episodes to date, solely because I think me and him really clicked. When we were shooting this episode, we really were, kind of in the same wavelength. Although we didn't get to touch on many topics that, in great detail, but I think, it just shows you the type of connection me and Brandon have, and what he really is, and how inspired I am just by him, and hopefully, he enjoyed that experience of being on a pod, but also just being able to share his personal story, because not a lot of people get to know Brandon as the personal. We know him, a lot of people that I go to school with, they know him as that big buff dude that does training once in a while. But I think it's really beneficial to see where people come from and their stories, and why they're into what they're into. So we go into the backstory of Brandon, but I don't want to kind of just give you guys a little teaser on what that episode, but definitely go check it out on YouTube and also on Spotify. We have both of those platforms, so if you don't have the time to sit down and watch the visuals, we have Spotify, and I'll link those as well. I need to do a better job of making those available for you guys, because sometimes it feels like everyone just watches on YouTube, because I promote those as well. So I'll do a better job of linking those Spotify's different modes in which you guys can listen and interact with LWH. You know what I'm saying? But yes, thank you to all. That is actually another segue into Brandon as well, because I think that last podcast is the most viewed video that I've ever made, period, point blank. Right now we're pushing more than 20 views. Honestly, I'm not here to bullshit you guys and say, oh, I get millions of views and da da da, we're world. Nah, this is a small podcast and it's growing, but yeah. So last time I checked, 20 views, and that to me it's huge. So big thank you to all the people that are checking it out, and kind of just slowly building this channel up. So a big thank you, guys. And yeah, if you're at work and you don't want to use your battery as much as by using YouTube, we got Spotify. You can check it out on there, and also be talking about that here in a bit. But yeah, Brandon, definitely great speaker. He's the man. He's a big inspiration to me, especially once I got started with LWH and its affiliates. So yeah, no, he's been a big support, and also just a big thank you. This is a heartfelt, heart to heart, camera. Just a big thank you. So yeah, go check out his channel. Unfortunately, the shirts that we were talking about in the episode, they're all sold out, but that's what we wanted, to sell out. That means he's got a pretty good following, so I copped 2 shirts, and you know what, I think I may be doing a giveaway of that shirt. So I'll have some more details on what that looks like, just really to spread his brand. Yeah. So let's get into the episode. It's enough. We can cut the crap. It's another episode, another week. We are quickly approaching October. Holy shit. It's already the 5th of October. Yeah, we're going to be flying through this month. I already know that for sure. I got more guests lined up, so I'm super excited for this month. Definitely, got a lot of things moving on. And also, like I mentioned, we got my brother's wedding, got to celebrate his big feat of, getting married, because that, now that I've noticed, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard keeping a girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? So we got to go celebrate that. But first on the list of duty, we humans, we tend to grow some hair in abnormal places, or in places, in the pubic regions, in the armpits. Now, here's a little bit about me, right? So, my dad never really grew hair in the armpits or in the chest or anything like that. So, growing up, I was always made fun of, especially my legs, because I'd wear shorts all the time. Like, bro, do you shave? Because it just looked like, when I was younger, it just looked like I never had hair. I was like that, hairless baby, always being made fun of. And like, bro, just go through puberty already and grow some hair, right? Or your balls haven't dropped. That was always the joke. So, all of a sudden, I get into, moving throughout my middle school and high school, and slowly there's hair showing up, right? But weirdly, I don't have much. You see? That's about it. I don't have much armpit hair. Now, the legs, they're a different story. That's where it started to grow. And this was like in high school, towards the end of high school, when it started to grow, especially on my legs and on my... So, at the end of the high school, like junior, I'll say end of sophomore, beginning of junior years, when, it really like kicked up. So I started growing hair and hair and hair, and I was like, okay, finally, I'm becoming a man, But now it's like, okay, especially in the area that there's a lot of hair, and I have to shave quite regularly. But what I just found out about a couple months ago, I'll say, I won't lie, a couple months ago, there's hair that grows by your exit hole number 2, if we can put it that way. So I started noticing when I'd wipe, there's some hairs, and I was like, oh damn, I needed to shave, my pubes, right? That's cool, whatever, I'll shave them out, shoo, go ahead and shower, boom. And then I started noticing, like, the couple days after, it was like, still getting hair down there, buddy, but you don't got no hair. So I was like, whoa, there's some hair missing or that I missed, right? And I've been debating, and, because this has been months of me contemplating on how exactly to go about it, How do I get rid of this hair? Do I wax it? Do I shave it? What type of razor? Do I use those lotions, the Nair? Have you guys ever heard of the Nair, where you put it on and then you rub it on and then it just stays there, and then you rinse it off with water and your hair magically disappears? I didn't know exactly how to go about the situation, right? So one of these days, just recently actually, I decided to play what I believed was, at the time, the riskiest decision was go with the razor. And to my surprise, it wasn't that difficult at all with the razor, So it was literally like 2-3 strokes, whoop whoop. I'm clear, I'm fresh, and as soon as I did that, I noticed, life was a little bit different. It was a little more skippy. It was a little more like upbeat. I didn't feel that nice little rug burn that you feel whenever you have some, carpet rash under there. So it's been like a whole new world. That's why I'm so jolly, so happy this whole last 2 weeks, because it's a whole new experience to me. And definitely all the ladies that, have to shave regularly, or, want to shave regularly, I think I'm starting to get on this wave as well, cause hair is just it's starting to bug me, man. It gets tangled, it gets pinched, it gets poked. Ugh, ah. I wish I could just laser it all off right now, but I know those procedures are pretty expensive. But yeah, I'm liking this new approach, because not only that, not only is it comfortable, it's more hygienic. Like, bruh, I can't even imagine, because obviously when you shave, you see the amount of hair that was, cut off. Now I'm noticing that when I wipe, it's a lot more dirtier than I think. And when I had the hair before, I can't imagine what was left behind. So, ooh, to all the ladies, or to even all the past, I was rocking around with the stank butt now. Woo! But now, ladies and gentlemen, I've graduated to the clean club. I'm happy to announce the LWH Studios is now sponsored by the Lawnmower 4.0. Zyg! You wish, motherfuckers. So, thank you. A round of applause. That was my big unveiling of the week. Cause whew, it was so much comfortable now, man. So much more comfortable. But yeah, speaking of upping the production value or upping the essence of life, I've been, debating around, or, deciding in which way I want to go about, uh, bettering, or not bettering. That's a stupid word. What the fuck? Um, you know, Increasing the way in which I'm, legitimized, and being seen by you guys, how you guys view me and how legit I can seem, because I really, really, really want to, start increasing the production value of this podcast, because not only will you guys take me more seriously, even though I talk about dumb shit and all the time, but it'll allow me to, just say it won't look janky. Because for me personally, and I'm going to be my worst critic right now, I personally don't like filming with the camera that I have right now. I don't. Solely because I don't have too much experience with camera and videography, but I'm willing to put in the time, and I know these first episodes and first seasons are gonna have to pay the price, because we just don't have that, production value in the budget. But I think the first step that I can take to, making my life a little bit easier, and also, make it sound a little bit more, what can I say, professional, is through audio. Now, audio, I have a little more experience. Obviously, it's not as complex with visuals, because with visuals, you're dealing with a lot of, variables. You're dealing with light. Light is the big priority, when it comes to filming. It's like one of the most important aspects. And right now, I don't have a good lighting sources, or the times when I do film, there's not a lot of light, and I have to get, external sources of light. So that's where I have to start investing in either lighting and the camera all in one. It's not just like, oh, because you have a good camera, it's going to do all the work for you. Definitely not. But then also audio. I want to sound crisp. I want to sound so damn crisp that you can smell what is going on in the video just by the audio, right? I want it to be that crisp, I want it to be, I don't want there to be a lag. I don't want there to be, like, it just, I don't want it to sound like one of those homemade, I want it to sound professional, right? And that's always a dream. But I gotta get, I actually just ordered, I actually do already have the microphones. I got them off of eBay. So they're used, but they're pretty good value. What do they call them? They're not studio. They're not a standard, production standard to like a big studio, like these Rodecaster mics. but I think they're gonna be a whole lot better than what I have now, and especially with this mic that I have now, I do have to do a lot of troubleshooting before I even start filming. Um, so I think that's gonna help me a little bit to increase my knowledge with just using some better gear, right? So I've got a two microphones already here. I got a mixer that it's very very powerful. At least for what I need it, it's perfect. It's actually perfect. And also, I need to find a way or figure out a way to get those two systems, the mics and the mixer, to work with this computer, right? And work with all the sound that I already have on it, and just bring it all together. And these are the things that you guys don't really see, and I kind of want to let you guys into because it's definitely, if you're interested in this stuff, and you want to learn more, and you're like, come on, there's definitely an opportunity where we can work something out. Since I basically know almost everyone that watches this, and thank you guys, right? But if you're interested and you're super motivated, I gotta start working with more people. I gotta start growing this circle as well, because it can't just be me selfish and kind of holding this in the back, to where that's when the production gets harmed because it's only one person that can do everything, and that's where we kind of need to seek help. I gotcha, come on. But yeah, so I've been looking into the microphones and how the mixers work and how I can implement all of these systems. It's been fun. It's been challenging for sure. It's a lot of late night reading, and yeah, I mean, sometimes I get 6 hours of sleep, sometimes 8. And that's the price I pay. But again, I do want to up the production value, not only because the tools are gonna help me work a little bit faster, and sound a little bit better, and look a lot better than what I do now. But also, this will give me a time to actually legitimize and say, you know what, I don't always have to be working and finding, all of the components that need to work. If I can start off with a good base, and it looks very very clean cut professional, then I can start to step away from the logistics of this and produce more into the content wise, right? Because that's at the forefront of what I'm doing here. I'm here to produce content, and I'm here to produce entertainment, right? And I don't want it to be always looking into, how can I make this shitty system work with this other shitty system? Why don't I just get two systems that I already know that work together and can produce product? When I turn them on, they're there, they're ready for me, and I can just work, right? So that's another big reason as to why I want to upgrade this system that I have and this workflow, because sometimes you need that. Sometimes the tools that you have just don't work for you anymore, and you're gonna have to slowly start building your arsenal. So we're in that phase now. I think I've had a great ability to stick to my schedule. I was very worried that within the first 2 weeks of me starting classes that I wasn't going to be able to keep up with the schedule, of me being able to upload, to post, and to create content every week. But I think now I have my routine down, my foundation of what that looks like, and what I need to do, and what exactly what type of effort I need to put down. So I think I can start pushing myself, because if I start keeping in this stationary position that I am now, where I have some tools but I don't have the motivation to keep innovating and getting better, and bringing in new tools, then I'm just gonna stay right where I am, right? So I obviously want to grow with you guys, but I also want to grow and produce this something into maybe a career, right? So that's where I need to start thinking business. I need to start. Money moves, baby. But yeah. So that cameras. Oh my goodness, that's just a whole nother freaking animal that I haven't even unveiled. That right now I'm looking into Sony, and if there is, I know I talked to Brandon because his camera. It's a beautiful camera. It shoots really nice, crisp colors, and it has a very clean dynamic range. But I've been looking so far out of my research that I've done is Sony cameras, Sony video cameras, specifically the A6400 and its alpha line of products of bases at least, because I want to get the right lens as well. And that's see what I'm saying. There's not only the camera, I mean, its capabilities and the S log, the type of gamma curves that it has, but and its shooting potential, because that's the camera is your workhorse. It's what it can do. It's your engine, if you can say. And the lens is how you view it. What type of content do you want to see? What is the actual visual aspects that you want to emphasize and not really focus on? So those are all these things that I got to think of. But first and foremost, the audio is key. Because I don't know if you also noticed in the previous episode I had, and Brendan can speak to this, we had a lot of technical difficulties, and now I just figured out why that was going on my end. Yeah, so I had to do troubleshooting with that, and it just never stops. But yeah, so I really want to iron out these small details that I have now. Because last week it could have been such a better episode, I think, and Brandon even told me he gave me some feedback, which I always respect and love from anyone. That yeah, the audio was definitely one of the limiting factors of that episode, and it just that crisp, clear sound. Even if it would have been with this, it would have been a whole lot better. In my opinion, at least, and I think Brandon would agree with me as well, since there was a lot of squeaking, a lot of clipping throughout the video, and I heard that there was also a lot of audio issues with people having to turn up their volume to the max. But that's my take on my promises to you guys as the viewers here, because obviously I'm the sole, if you'll say, the entertainment or the personality, right? Sometimes I may not be the most interesting person in the room, but if I can make the person that is with me, or if I can make myself shine as the most interesting person in the room, then that's what I'm here to do, right? So yeah, I think that last episode was just a perfect example of what I'm capable of as of right now, and the people that I know that they do a lot, and it sometimes feel like it goes unheard, especially on just me as a personal feeling of as a creator, as a content creator, I guess you could say, that Brandon is so professional in what he does and how he works, and just the way that he speaks and the way that he shoots and edits and does all of his content, that it feels like it could get so much more recognition, and it could reach limits that he's not even, or that maybe even that I am not aware of, because yeah, I think he is the perfect example of what I want to strive to, right? So that was my spiel for now on production value, but yeah, I'm working really hard for you guys, and for myself especially, to create something new, something different. If you don't want to get to places where you've never been, you got to do some things that you've never done, right? So we're gonna continue that, table it, and I'll obviously update you guys. For all those that are interested in all this stuff, definitely shoot me a DM, shoot me a text. I know you personally. Shit. So, yeah, and just, I guess, another aspect leading into that, all these challenges and feeling good. life's been, it's been busy. I will say it's not like this shit's easy, and but it's been fun. I've had an amazing time shooting a lot of this, content learning stuff. Being on campus, managing my time. I think I've done a great job of managing my time than what I was doing in the previous 2 years. Between Divest EU, between being a full time student, and also creating content at the same time, right? And working with LWH. I'm working on trying to get something right here. I want to put some LWH merch or some designs, but it's I'm looking at things in a very different aspect now that I've never really tapped into this mode of focus or work ethic. I don't think ever, because it was always like, oh, do your work and then just chill out or hang around for the rest of your day. But now it's always leading to something. My time is always, it feels valuable now. It feels like it's going to something, and I think that's really what I would recommend for everyone to do. If your time doesn't feel valuable, then you should probably change something, right? Because your time is what you get to spend your time on what you want. If you let someone else tell you what to spend your time on, then you're not living to your best potential, right? And I think I did see that over this last week, where I was just very grateful to be able to work on this type of stuff and have this type of luxury to work on podcasting, on my homework, on produce quality work where I just don't feel dissatisfied in what I do. I'm always like, I'm very upbeat, and I know if this, I just know that this isn't to be sustained for a long time. It's gonna come and it's gonna go. I'm gonna hit highs, I'm gonna hit lows, right? But as of right now, just looking back, especially here in Colorado, the leaves are changing, fall's coming, the weather's getting colder, the fits are coming out nice. You get to wear the nice clothes. At least I think so. You get to wear the nice clothes. You don't feel as bummy. You get to wear some polos, some jackets, some sweaters. This is the type of season where I feel like very comfortable in myself, and especially you know adding on to that, where I get to produce a good amount of work where it's quality, and that I know people are saying that it's quality. It just it puts another pep in my step, right? And that validation, sometimes it does come in necessary, and I've talked about it on my even on some of my other channels on Serap. If you guys are old followers, right? Where validation shouldn't be everything, but it kind of is important, right? That's especially when it comes to you know creating something. You that's the whole reason that you want to create, right? That the validation from people that say, what, this is awesome, right? But it's also got to come from a place where you think it's your best product, right? Because when you put your best product, it's like you're putting part of yourself out there. If you just create anything and everything just for views and clicks, there's not as much acceptance, or how can I put it? There's not as much respect to that validation, if you could put it in a sense, because that validation comes from a place of respect, right? From the person who's consuming it, right? So they're saying, "Oh, you know what? That's awesome. I love what you're doing," and boom, 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 all these good things, right? But if I were to be just making this stuff just to get views, clicks, and likes, for just because I want to be the talk of the town or whatever, then it doesn't seem like I respect that validation, and I try to chase more and more and more for the wrong reasons, right? But for now, I'm like, I really want to produce great content where I can either push entertain, or just be a goofball on here. That's literally all it is. And if you know me, and most of you do, most of the people that do watch and follow me, you do know me personally, and that's always my motive on how I interact with others. It's not about proving a point or anything. It's just like, how can we both spend, or all of us just have a good time on this thing, right? This is a little brain break or whatever that may be, but that's that's my motivation when I do this. And I do feel, especially over the course of this last month, um, it's been great to be able to um, create this work of art, because to me, as of right now, it's something that I'm creating, right? And it's an art form of such that it's something that I'm putting my best and I'm putting all of my work into. And I'm not just doing it just because I want you guys to click and no, it's because I do want to know how other people think. And I think podcasting in general allows for that longer form of, conversation that I love to already have in general. But if you can do it with people that I know that you potentially know, or other people that are just seem interesting, it just makes I think it makes life a little more interesting, and makes for more ways to think about things, right? So that's my whole spiel. I've been enjoying, living life, living in the pursuit of happiness, I guess. But I've been in this right headspace where um, I know what work and play and that balance means to me. But also, that doesn't mean that if there is a lot of work and that there is a deadline, I'm gonna get it done, right? So I'm not completely neglecting one or the other, but I do think I'm starting to have a bigger balance in what my meaning and what my time means to me. So that's another thing that I've been experiencing lately, and I've just been so happy with everything that's going on. So um, yeah. Then I don't know what else. I let me check my notes real quick, because I know there was a little bit more um, to talk about. I may sound like a bitch, but I've been loving cooking, bro. I've said this before. My parents and all my family members know that I already love cooking, but cooking now, bruh, it hits different when you live alone, bruh. And especially when you're doing homework, bruh, it hits different. Cause you're like in work mode, you're doing your shit, boom, 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 right? And all of a sudden you're like, oh, una quesadilla, bruh, that shit sounds fire. Oh, and you're just like thinking about it, you're writing, you're like, I gotta do one more discussion post with it. Ooh, a chicken quesadilla, bruh. Ooh. So that now it's like, if I get those cravings, or even if I just need to eat dinner and I forget to, or it's getting late, I'll take a break. I'll go cook. I'll go do the dishes, take my time, enjoy my meal, and then get back to work. And I just noticed I'm not only do I finish my work on time, but it just gets done a lot better. So I think now I've noticed that taking those breaks, those actual breaks where you're actually gonna do something instead of just being on your phone. I've noticed that I've tried to step away from being on my phone, but it's very difficult to do when that's how I interact with y'all, right? So that's one of the challenges, and also creating something interesting. You need to be on the phone. You need to consume content to create content, right? So I've enjoyed taking breaks from my life, where cooking allows me to do that, or even just leaving out of the city for a little bit. Definitely a good idea. But yeah, I think that's it for this episode. A little wholesome, a little personal. Again, I think a lot of these episodes are gonna be more personal now. I think that's the direction that we're headed into, and sometimes that's sometimes what you want to hear, right? So, all right, let's close this up because I know this one's a longer one, but I think it's wholesome, right? So thank you guys to everyone that is tuning in and actually running up those numbers on YouTube. Let's try and get it on Spotify now, right? So if you don't have time to look at the visuals, we got you on Spotify, right? So yes, Spotify, and then continue to what else? What else? What else? What I was gonna say? Continue to be great people, right? I know most of you, so yeah, reach out if you have anything to say. Let me know. She, and yeah, let's close it out. I like this one a lot, guys. Good job.